Something is happening across Europe. Not in headlines, not in the bright streets of Paris or the beaches of Spain, but underneath, in the quiet neighborhoods, the exhausted economies, and the restless politics that no one can control anymore. For decades, European nations built systems of comfort, open borders, generous welfare, promises of equality. And for years, it worked. The continent became a dream destination, safe, rich, and peaceful. But after 2015, the dream started to crack. As of 2025, Europe's Muslim population is estimated to be around 46 million, making up about 6% of the continent's total population. However, these figures may increase as many illegal immigrants also live in Europe. By 2025, the quiet tension has turned into a visible fracture. From Stockholm to Rome, from Brussels to London, entire neighborhoods now live under separate realities. Languages clash, cultures clash, and politics can no longer find the middle ground. So in today's video, we are going to show you 10 European countries that are on the brink of collapse in 2025. But before starting the video, I want to request you, we put our best efforts to create our every single video. So please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's start. Number 10, Spain, once celebrated for its sun-drenched beaches and bustling cities, is showing cracks few dare to admit. Beneath the surface of Madrid, Barcelona, and Valencia, a quiet tension has been building, one fueled by rapid demographic change and growing economic strain. Over the past decade, Spain has received tens of thousands of new arrivals each year from North Africa and other regions. Estimates suggest that around 80,000 to 100,000 undocumented migrants cross into Spain annually, primarily through the southern enclaves of Ceuta and Melilla, as well as via sea routes along the Mediterranean coast. Many live in precarious conditions, relying on informal work or minimal social support, while local residents perceive mounting pressure on housing, schools, and healthcare. The Muslim population in Spain has been steadily growing. In 2000, it represented just under 2% of the population, but by 2025, it is estimated to reach 4 to 5% of the total population, roughly 2.2 to 2.5 million people. This growth has contributed to cultural shifts in urban areas, with new mosques, cultural centers, and community networks appearing in previously homogeneous neighborhoods. While these communities provide social cohesion for newcomers, rapid demographic changes have sparked anxiety among some locals, particularly in cities facing overcrowded schools and strained public services. Social tension is rising. In the last 5 years, hundreds of anti-immigrant and anti-Muslim protests have taken place across Spain, from Madrid to Valencia. These demonstrations, often fueled by economic frustration and cultural unease, reflect the challenges Spain faces in balancing humanitarian obligations with maintaining social stability. Political parties have increasingly used immigration as a key issue in elections, highlighting the delicate divide in Spanish society. Economically, Spain remains fragile. Youth unemployment lingers around 25%, one of the highest rates in Europe. Housing costs have soared, with many cities reporting shortages of affordable rental units. Public services, hospitals, schools, and social programs are stretched to their limits, creating daily friction between longtime residents and newly arrived populations. Number 9, Italy. Italy, the historic heart of the Mediterranean, faces mounting pressure as waves of migrants continue to arrive from North Africa and beyond. Cities like Rome, Milan, and Naples have witnessed neighborhoods transforming almost overnight, straining housing, schools, and public services. The country receives approximately 70,000 to 90,000 undocumented migrants annually, many crossing the Mediterranean in overcrowded boats, testing Italy's border control and emergency response systems. The Muslim population in Italy has grown steadily over the past 2 decades. From roughly 1.5% of the population in 2000, it is now estimated at 3 to 4% in 2025, about 1.8 to 2 million people. Urban areas with high concentrations of newcomers are facing increased pressure on community services, and local populations sometimes struggle to adapt to rapid cultural changes. Social tension is rising. Over the past 5 years, numerous protests have erupted across Italian cities, reflecting anxiety over immigration and integration challenges. Anti-immigrant demonstrations, particularly in northern regions like Lombardy and Veneto, have gained attention, signaling frustration with government policies perceived as ineffective. Economically, Italy grapples with slow growth, high youth unemployment around 22 to 24%, and housing shortages in major urban centers. Public resources are stretched, and many schools and hospitals report difficulties accommodating growing populations, fueling resentment on both sides. Southern Italy bears the brunt of the crisis. Ports in Sicily and Calabria remain entry points for migrants, with thousands arriving in small vessels each month. Local authorities struggle to provide temporary housing, medical care, and integration programs. Political tension is high, with nationalist parties increasingly vocal about border security and integration policies, reflecting the country's growing unease. By 2025, Italy faces a delicate balance. Vibrant cities and rich culture remain, but the pressures of illegal immigration, demographic change, social unrest, and economic strain are quietly reshaping the nation. Without effective integration and resource management, Italy risks deeper instability in the coming years. Number 8. Belgium. Belgium, Europe's political heart, is quietly under pressure. The country receives roughly 30,000 to 40,000 undocumented migrants annually, many entering through urban hubs like Brussels and Antwerp. The influx strains housing, schools, and public services, creating friction between long-time residents and newcomers. The Muslim population has grown steadily, from around 4% in 2000 to nearly 7% in 2025, roughly 700,000 to 750,000 people, concentrated in major cities. Cultural and demographic shifts have sparked unease in some neighborhoods, especially where integration programs struggle to keep pace. Social tension is rising. Frequent protests over immigration and cultural integration have occurred in Brussels and Antwerp, reflecting public frustration with government policies and the visible changes in urban life. Economically, Belgium faces challenges. Youth unemployment hovers around 20%. Housing is expensive and limited, and public resources are increasingly strained. Rising demand in schools, hospitals, and social services amplifies social friction. By 2025, Belgium appears stable on the surface, but illegal immigration, demographic shifts, social unrest, and economic pressures quietly threaten its cohesion. The cracks may still be small, but they are widening, and the nation must act or risk deeper instability. Number 7. Sweden. Sweden, long seen as Europe's model of stability and social welfare, is quietly under strain. Each year, around 50,000 to 60,000 undocumented migrants arrive, primarily through southern borders and major cities like Stockholm, Gothenburg, and Malmö. These arrivals place pressure on housing, schools, and public services, creating tension in communities struggling to absorb newcomers. The Muslim population has grown from roughly 2% in 2000 to about 5% in 2025, totaling 500,000 to 550,000 people, concentrated in urban districts. Rapid demographic shifts have intensified debates over integration, culture, and social cohesion, and this is only official data, not unofficial. Social unrest is increasingly visible. Anti-immigration and anti-Muslim protests occur frequently, while some neighborhoods experience rising crime and community tension. Political parties exploit these divisions, fueling national debate about migration and security. Economically, Sweden faces youth unemployment near 18 to 20% in affected cities, housing shortages, and rising welfare costs. Public services, already under strain, struggle to maintain quality as populations grow. By 2025, Sweden's image of stability masks underlying pressure. Illegal immigration, population growth, social tension, and economic stress quietly challenge its cohesion. Without effective policies, the cracks in Sweden's social fabric may deepen, hinting at a nation silently approaching instability. Number 6. Germany. Germany, Europe's economic powerhouse, is facing pressures that threaten its long-standing stability. Each year, Around 80,000 to 100,000 undocumented migrants enter the country, many settling in cities like Berlin, Hamburg, and Frankfurt. These influxes strain housing, public services, and schools, quietly reshaping urban life. The Muslim population has grown steadily, from roughly 3% in 2000 to nearly 7 to 8% in 2025, around 5 million people nationwide. Concentrated in major cities, these demographic shifts intensify debates over integration, social cohesion, and cultural identity. Germany recorded an unprecedented surge in immigration in 2015, with around 1.1 million migrants arriving in the country, primarily from Syria, Afghanistan, and Iraq due to the ongoing refugee crisis. Economic pressures compound the strain. Youth unemployment remains around 15 to 18% in affected areas. Housing shortages worsen, and public services face unprecedented demand. The social safety net creaks under the weight of a growing population, creating friction between newcomers and locals. By 2025, Germany's image of order hides a more fragile reality. Illegal immigration, rising demographic shifts, social unrest, and economic strain are quietly testing the country's limits. The clock is ticking, and without decisive action, Germany risks deeper instability in the years ahead. Number 5. France. France, the nation of revolutions and resilience, is facing a silent upheaval. Each year, roughly 70,000 to 90,000 undocumented migrants arrive, many through southern borders and Mediterranean ports. Cities like Paris, Marseille, and Lyon are struggling to accommodate them, with overcrowded housing, schools, and public services under intense pressure. The Muslim population has grown from about 5% in 2000 to nearly 10% in 2025, reaching around 6 to 8 million people. Concentrated in urban neighborhoods, this rapid demographic shift has intensified debates over identity, integration, and the very soul of French society. Social unrest simmers just beneath the surface. Anti-immigrant and anti-Muslim protests erupt frequently, while some districts experience clashes, vandalism, and growing distrust. Political divides deepen as parties exploit tensions, warning of cities changing too fast and communities feeling abandoned. Economically, France faces youth unemployment around 20 to 22% in troubled districts, rising housing costs, and stretched public services. The gap between local expectations and available resources fuels frustration and instability. By 2025, France's iconic boulevards and historic landmarks mask a country quietly teetering on the edge. Illegal immigration, demographic shifts, social unrest, and economic strain converge to challenge the nation's cohesion. The tension is palpable, and without effective management, France risks deeper fractures that could define its future for decades. Number 4. United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, long seen as a symbol of stability and tradition, is quietly facing mounting pressures. Each year, roughly 60,000 to 80,000 undocumented migrants enter the country, many settling in London, Birmingham, and Manchester. These arrivals strain housing, schools, and public services, reshaping communities at a pace many locals struggle to accept. The Muslim population has grown steadily, from about 3% in 2000 to nearly 7% in 2025, totaling roughly 4 million people, concentrated heavily in urban centers. Rapid demographic change has intensified debates over integration, cultural identity, and social cohesion, while neighborhoods experience tension and, at times, localized unrest. Social instability is rising. Anti-immigration and anti-Muslim protests are increasingly frequent, with clashes in certain districts highlighting communities grappling with rapid change. Economically, the UK faces youth unemployment around 17 to 20% in affected areas, housing shortages, and stretched social services. Public infrastructure struggles to keep pace with population growth, adding to the sense of unease. By 2025, the UK's iconic streets and historic landmarks mask a nation quietly teetering. Illegal immigration, growing Muslim communities, social unrest, and economic pressures converge, challenging the country's cohesion. Without decisive action, the cracks in society may deepen, threatening stability that has long been taken for granted. Number 3. Netherlands. The Netherlands, known for its canals, liberal cities, and bustling economy, is quietly facing mounting internal pressures. Each year, roughly 40,000 to 50,000 undocumented migrants arrive, many settling in Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and The Hague. Housing shortages, overcrowded schools, and strained public services are becoming daily challenges for urban authorities. The Muslim population has grown steadily from around 5% in 2000 to nearly 8% in 2025, totaling approximately 1.5 million people, primarily concentrated in major cities. Rapid demographic changes have fueled debates about integration, cultural identity, and social cohesion, creating tensions in districts struggling to adapt to new realities. Youth unemployment hovers around 15 to 18% in affected areas. Housing costs continue to rise, and public services are stretched thin. The Dutch welfare and healthcare systems, once celebrated for efficiency, struggle to accommodate growing populations. However, some leaders are emerging in the Netherlands who are openly talking about immigrants and other problems. Number 2. Austria. Austria, long admired for its stability and prosperity, is quietly confronting mounting pressures. Each year, roughly 25,000 to 35,000 undocumented migrants enter, many settling in Vienna, Graz, and Linz. Housing, schools, and public services are increasingly strained, challenging urban centers accustomed to efficient planning. The Muslim population has grown steadily from around 4% in 2000 to nearly 7% in 2025, about 600,000 people, primarily in urban districts. While communities provide cohesion for newcomers, the rapid demographic shifts amplify tensions in neighborhoods already facing challenges from a declining local population. Austria's native population is aging, and birth rates remain low. Some towns see shrinking schools and dwindling workforces, creating friction as newcomers arrive to fill labor gaps. Locals struggle with the sense that traditional communities are changing too quickly, while economic resources must stretch further to support growing populations. Economically, youth unemployment hovers around 14 to 16% in affected areas. Housing costs are rising, and public services face unprecedented demand. The combination of immigration pressures and local population decline strains Austria's social cohesion, creating unease beneath the country's polished surface. By 2025, Austria's scenic cities and alpine towns mask a nation quietly transforming. Illegal immigration, demographic growth, economic strain, and declining local populations converge, testing the nation's resilience. Without careful management, Austria risks deeper social and economic challenges in the years ahead. Number 1. Ireland. Ireland, long seen as a peaceful island nation, is quietly under immense pressure. Each year, roughly 20,000 to 25,000 undocumented migrants arrive, many settling in Dublin, Cork, and Limerick. Housing shortages, overcrowded schools, and strained public services are becoming daily challenges, stretching the country's infrastructure to its limits. The Muslim population has grown steadily from about 1% in 2000 to nearly 4% in 2025, around 200,000 people, concentrated in urban areas. While communities provide support networks for newcomers, rapid demographic change adds to the tension in neighborhoods already facing declining local populations and an aging citizenry. Ireland's native population is shrinking in some towns, birth rates remain low, and workforce gaps are emerging. Locals feel the strain of rising housing costs, competition for jobs, and pressure on public services, creating subtle but persistent social friction. Economically, youth unemployment hovers near 15% in affected urban districts. Housing is limited, and public services struggle to keep pace. The combination of immigration pressures, population decline, and economic strain creates a quiet unease that belies Ireland's outward image of stability and prosperity. I feel that some European countries, especially Western European countries, are some percent responsible for whatever is happening. This is my personal opinion. What do you think? Tell me in the comments section below. But you must also tell me what you think about the open border policy that came into effect after 2015. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.